The world isn't fighting climate change, it's selling it. Insurance companies, hedge funds, and energy giants already treat the climate crisis as a business model. Markets don't argue about science. They price it, they bet on it, they profit from it. While the planet burns, portfolios rise. While policies promise change, balance sheets trade catastrophe. This is an activism. It's capitalism reborn in green. And to understand how we got here, you need to follow the money. Every empire in history ran on one thing. Fuel, coal, built Britain, oil built America. Energy has always been the foundation of dominance. By 1850, Britain mined more coal than the rest of the world combined. Coal powered its factories, ships, and wars. It was more than energy, it was leverage. When oil replaced coal, the empire baton passed west. Rockefeller's Standard Oil shaped a new order. Energy dictated who ruled and who obeyed. Even in the 1890s, scientists warned industrial smoke could warm the planet. They were ignored because profit burns louder than science. Every empire falls the same way. When the cost of fuel rises faster than control, power collapses. The same pattern repeats today, but the fuel is data, carbon, and fear. In 1997, the Kyoto Protocol promised to curb emissions, but instead gave pollution a price tag. Countries received carbon credits, permits to emit CO2. If you emitted less, you could sell. If you exceeded, you could buy. Pollution became property. The right to pollute became an asset. Capitalism's fix was to turn the problem into profit. The system rewarded deception. Industries learned to look green without changing. By 2005, the EU launched the largest carbon market. Today, over $1 trillion in credits trade yearly, many tied to forests that never existed. We didn't stop pollution, we monetized it. Once pollution became tradable, investment chased renewables. By the 2010s, wind and solar shifted from idealism to speculation. Governments pumped billions, investors poured trillions, markets rebranded morality as a business plan. Tesla sold vision, not vehicles. Its stock soared beyond all automakers combined through belief. But every boom hides extraction. The green revolution ran on lithium, cobalt, and nickel. Bolivia, Congo, Indonesia, new frontiers, old exploitation. While the West cheered clean energy, China bought the ground beneath it, now controlling over 60% of mining and 80% of refining, owning the chain that powers the clean future. The empire shifted again, not by conquest, but by minerals. The next step was pricing catastrophe. Insurance firms, once victims of risk, flipped the game, raised premiums, exited flood zones, and created catastrophe bonds. A cat bond pays steady returns unless disaster hits. Then investors lose their money to cover damages. Now investors bet on hurricanes, wildfires, and floods. The worse the weather, the better the yield. By 2023, cat bonds hit $40 billion. Hedge funds joined in, treating disaster as dividend. Tragedy became a tradable event. The climate crisis became Wall Street's forecast. After 2008, finance needed redemption. It founded in ESG, environmental social governance. The idea sounded moral, invest in good, but by 2022, ESG funds held $40 trillion under vague loose oversight. Oil firms with transition plans, qualified as green coal firms, earned ESG for diversity. Ethics became a product rating agencies sold virtue scores like subscriptions. ESG wasn't conscience, it was costume. And the audience paid to believe it. Governments joined in, realizing climate policy moves votes and markets. The US pledged $370 billion for clean energy. The EU taxed carbon imports. Publicly, it was responsibility, privately, industrial strategy. Green stimulus became the decade's richest contract. China built what the West subsidized: solar, turbines, batteries. The West paid, China owned. Power now depends on who controls scarcity. Carbon credits, minerals, food, water. Insurers abandoned regions. Banks priced flood risk into mortgages. Hedge funds bought drought-proof land. The global economy priced instability itself. The worse the forecast, the higher the hedge. Markets no longer deny climate change. They depend on it. Fear became a sector. History repeats in new uniforms. The Cold War sold security, 9/11 sold safety, climate change sells salvation. Fear is currency. Every era weaponizes it. Today we call it resilience. Markets don't need to solve the problem, only to keep it profitable. Behind every green bond and carbon offset lies belief. Belief that money cancels damage, that trees somewhere erase emissions elsewhere. Yet over 90% of rainforest offsets were worthless. Forest burned, credit stayed, trades continued. Offsets became indulgences for a modern age. Pay to pollute, pray for balance. It's not about truth, but maintaining the illusion of progress. Capitalism never wastes a crisis. It repackages it as hope. The final divide isn't believers versus deniers, but those who can afford adaptation and those who can TE. The rich buy farmland bunkers, insurance derivatives, the rest buy uncertainty. Survival is now a premium product. Profit comes not from prevention, but management. The market already voted, the climate crisis isn't the enemy, it's the business plan. History doesn't repeat, it reinvests. Coal built empires, oil expanded them. Now the world trades its own survival. Climate change isn't a crisis, it's the defining asset of our century, and if even the end of the world can be sold, what can't be?